eyes wide open, and ears open, and hearts open. Thank you all so much for being in this circle, and holding each other and holding our community. And it's not a performance. This is what I call say the bar mitzvah kids. It's not a performance, it's prayer. So however it unfolds, that's how it unfolds, and it's fine, and it's our offering. Thank you. I always say yes. No bathroom markers. Thank you. I just got free. That was a really great story. Yeah.
Then was like laughing at me this morning. He's like, you're the one waking up early going to Rosh Hashanah service, and I'm sleeping. But he's just like, I don't know, like, I don't know why he doesn't want to come to the services. I think he's just tired. He had a big day gig last night. Maybe he'll come to one of the ones this week later.
Yeah, it's a lot. And like to go somewhere that you've never really,
He's not really into like the services. Like he practices Shabbat. Turns off his phone Friday night through Saturday. He has like a study group with like a couple of his friends. Yeah, he has some friends who he went to synagogue with, and he's like a kid who like now lives in Brooklyn. And they meet at the library
that's so
like once
nice.
a week or every few weeks and like do Torah study together.
That's wonderful.
Like he just doesn't like to come to services. Like I think he had like kind of an intense like childhood with all the like gray areas, like
Yeah.
rules and
No, you gotta find your way. You gotta just find your own way.
yeah.
I'm glad you could be here.
Yeah. Good to be here. How many people are in this year?
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
You're allowed to talk. Yeah. Shana Tova. Good,
Shana Tova.
good Yontif. Happy New Year. There's so many ways we say this. It's wonderful to see all of you who are here in this room. And we know there are folks joining us also via the live stream. So glad to have you seeing us. And I think most of you gathered here know who I am, but I'll say it anyway. I'm Rabbi Rachel Goldenberg, founder and spiritual leader here of Malkhut, Progressive Jewish Spirituality in Queens. And welcome to Malkhut's 7th annual High Holiday season. Wow. We're really glad to be back here at CUNY School of Law in Long Island City again this year, and to be working again with collaborators from Queens Jewish Project and the Wandering Jews of Astoria, and to again be generously funded by UJA Federation of New York. It's a blessing to be sharing leadership this morning with our music director, Chris Wetstein, our rabbinic intern, Emily Herslin, and some wonderful singers and musicians. We have Dan on percussion, Chelsea on clarinet, Conchetta on strings, on violin. We have Jim and Sue on vocals. So amazing to be up here with this beautiful team. I want to give you a chance to introduce yourselves to maybe some people sitting near you whom you do not know. You can turn to someone, share your name, maybe your gender pronouns if you'd like. You could share a blessing or a hope or something you're looking forward to or hoping to get out of these high holidays, or a hope for the new year with each other. So take a moment. Connect with someone near you.
I'm so hoping to let go of the negativity of last year.
All right. I need to stop it before it becomes a total schmooze fest. That's a good sign. So glad that folks are feeling connected to each other. We want you to feel at home here. Just some words about how to feel at home in this space and in this building. First of all, I can just assure you that CUNY Law has really good ventilation. Their HVAC system is quite amazing. So hopefully that helps us feel even more comfortable here. We are wheelchair accessible. This floor has all gender restrooms. You'll see signs telling you what you can find in each restroom so that you can feel comfortable to know. Emergency exits, should we need them. We have 2 exits out of this room, and then you turn left and down the stairs on the left. In terms of our COVID precautions, masks are now optional here, but always encouraged. There's no judgment either way, whatever you do. And whether you're wearing a mask or not, whether you're on live stream or in person, we really encourage you to sing. Whether you know the words or not, whether you know them, sing with us, please. It really creates the warmth of this community. In terms of words, most of the words will be projected on the screens. Your Machzor supplements are provided also for some of our prayers. And if you're joining us via live stream, you should have received a link in your confirmation email to that Machzor booklet, so you can open up that PDF. Please, if you're in person, please do not take the booklets home with you. They may look like a take-home. They are not. We use them from year to year. And one last thing before we begin, a tender thing to share in this space. Our dear, dear Emily and Chris מודה אני לפניך, רוח חי וקיים. 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 I was made for this morning. I was made to be here. All the life around me is a gift, so I may heal. I was made for this morning. I was made to be here. All the life around me is a gift, so I may heal. Moda ani lefanecha, ruach chai v'kayam. 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 We give thanks for the souls that are pure, that are within us. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi.
Elohai
Elohai neshama shenatata We are going to continue with morning blessings that, if you've been to Malkhut Shabbat before, you may have experienced, that are more embodied. They're really an experience of breath and movement, and that's how we experience these blessings. And you don't need to look at a screen, and you can put your book to the side. This is something you can do standing up if you're able. It's best if you're able. And you can also do it seated if you prefer that. And the most important part is to just stay with the breath and know that no one's watching you, because they're not. So the first thing, ooh, wow, there it all went. That was fun. Thank you, Jonathan. All right. Oh, we'll see. If it happens, it happens, right? All right. Yes. Okay, so, yeah. The first thing is I'm just going to demonstrate the Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam part. This is based on Qigong, if that's something that you practice. So Baruch is an in-breath with the arms going up like to your chest level. Baruch. Atah is an out-breath stretching forward. Adonai is in-breath. Adonai, out breath. Yeah. Eloheinu, you keep your fingertips together, palms up, coming up the body. Eloheinu, fingertips stay together. Out breath all the way down. And then Ruach, spirit of the world, right? Ruach Ha'olam. All right. And if what works for you is just breathing in and out, great. If you can handle all the movement timed with breath, great. Do what works for you. So, our first blessing, and you don't have this in front of you, don't worry, is, okay, it's that. Okay, so, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Ruach Ha'olam She'asani B'Tsalmo. You have made me in your image. And for this, we'll just stay with the breath. Inhaling through the nose, filling your belly, watching it expand, and then exhaling through the mouth. And just feeling that divine imprint that you are. Okay. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Ruach Ha'olam Sha'asani Yisrael. You have made me a God wrestler. So this is where we move our hips, where we release any tension in our hips. Jacob, our forebear, the God wrestler that we are named after, Yisrael, he was wrenched in the hip when he was wrestling, but we don't want to be wrenched today. So breathing and moving and loosening to be ready to wrestle with God, however we need to do that today, or wrestle with ourselves. All right. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Ruach, spirit of the universe, Ha'olam Sha'asani ben bat or bet chorin. You have made me free. So we're just going to move and circle our joints one by one. You can start with wrists, freeing ourselves in our shoulders, circling those. You can do your hips again if you want. Freeing our knees. You can circle your knees. If you're not wearing high heels, you can circle your ankles. Or even if you're in high heels. Feeling grateful, maybe elbows for these miraculous joints. Baruch. Brucha. At. Ya. Eloheinu. Ruach. Ha'olam. Pokeach, pokachat, ivrim, who gives sight to the blind. So noticing the miracle of sight, however sight works or doesn't work in our bodies. Noticing, closing the eyes first, and just enjoying the physical sensation of the eyes, softening the eyelids, softening the sockets around the eyes. Breathing, letting the eyes relax, giving them some moisture, some care. And then opening the eyes and seeing what is sensed, what is received through this sense door: light, shadow, color, movement. Feeling grateful for these amazing eyes. And one last one. So, brucha at ya Eloheinu ruach ha'olam hanoten or hanotenet laya'ef koach, who gives strength to the weary, the fatigued. And we come back to the breath and just inhaling, closing the eyes, and trying to track the path of the breath through the body. Can you feel it as you exhale and inhale, traveling through the veins, the arteries, helping your heart to pump, feeding the muscles, the fingers, the toes, feeling the breath invigorating you and waking you up. And you can return to a deep breath any time throughout the day when you might feel that you are tired. It's a day of waking up and helping ourselves to wake up. And you can inhale and exhale a couple more times to complete the practice. And you can be seated. I'm just going to stay up here. It's just easier. Can we get some keys up here? We're not hearing our keys. Thank you. Ashrei, Ashrei, Yoshvei, Yoshvei, Ashrei, Yoshvei Beitecha, Ashrei, Yoshvei Beitecha, Od Yehalelucha, Selah, Ashrei, Ashrei, Yoshvei. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha, Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha, Od Yehalelucha, Selah. I sing continue in praise with Psalm 150. And if you'd like to get up on your feet, it's not a bad idea. You can use those joints and hips and whatever you warmed up before. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, bekodsho, hallelujah, birkia uzo, hallelujah, bigmurotav, hallelujah, erov gulo. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, beteka shofar, hallelujah, benina betinor, hallelujah, betofu machol, hallelujah, benini benukav. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, betulei shama, hallelujah, betulei shua. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hanshamate hallelujah, hallelujah,
Nishmat Kol Chai. This song says, "The breath of all life praises Yah." Not our doings. Our very bones exclaim, "Who is like you?" Awe is our foundational way of relating to the world. Having a young child has taught me, and it is enough. Nishmat Kol Chai Tevarech et Shimcha Adonai Eloheinu Nishmat Kol Chai Tevarech et Shimcha Kol atzmotai tomarna
This is the day that the divine is enthroned, that we are as close to the presence as is possible in a year. And this little snippet of traditional liturgy paints that picture of this majestic one on a throne, surrounded by singing saints. Maybe that's us. I don't know. Hamelech, Hamelech, Hayoshev al kisei Ravenisa. I chose the wrong key, didn't I? I can't go that low. We need to do this over in the right key. I apologize, because otherwise the enthronement won't occur. You can sing it with me, now you know it. Hamelech, Hamelech, Hayoshev al kisei Ravenisa. Shochen ad marom v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv rananu tzadikim b'Adonai la'isharim nava tehila. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbi. On page 4, give me an amen. There we go. Bi'alma divrach yirutei, bi'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לעילא ולעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ויאמרו Amen. And we rise in body or in spirit as we call each other into community. And east is that way. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam Amen. These words from Rabbi Sheila Peltz-Weinberg as we move into this prayer where we sing along with these holy beings who are praising God around the throne. Who are holy beings? They are beloved, clear of mind, and courageous. Their will and God's are one. Raising their voices in constant gratitude, they marvel at every detail of life, granting each other loving permission to be exactly who they are. When we listen for their sweet voices, we can hear the echo within our own souls. So we join our voices to those of all holy beings now, as we all give gratitude and praise for this glorious creation that we are all a part of and which is reborn today on Rosh Hashanah.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot. The whole world is filled with your glory. The whole world is filled with your glory. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Adonai Tzevaot. The whole world is filled with your glory. The whole world is filled with your glory. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Adonai Tzevaot. The whole is filled
shal Tzion ta'ir, v'nizkechu lanu mehera leoro. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot.
Amen.
We open now to the great love that is always flowing through creation, that is always available to us, no matter that we are but dust and ashes, no matter how small or alone we might be feeling. So we'll be singing Ahava Rabbah with Sue, and that will take us directly into the Shema, and from there into a new way for our community to start the V'ahavta with a call and response chant.
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahavtanu, Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahavtanu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahavtanu, Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahava Rabbah,
Ahavtanu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. Adonai Eloheinu. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. Adonai Eloheinu.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך.
We continue silently with the rest of the Shema, starting on page 5 in your Machzor. Please use this time to enjoy either the Hebrew or the English or both. You don't have to get through the whole thing. You can see which words stand out and stay with them. Use it as a contemplation. Adonai Elohechem emet. These words from the High Holy Day Prayer Book, Mishkan HaNefesh. The Israelites walked into the Reed Sea 1 foot at a time. What were they thinking about as the water rose up their legs, chilling their hearts, advancing toward their open mouths? We continue to walk here, now, 1 foot at a time. On our better days, forward. Alone, I cannot reach the far shore without drowning. Somehow I don't go under. The person to my right holds me up. Something I cannot see holds him up. Blessed is the source of help, so often unexpected. I step forward. The sea is vast.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei melech, shira chadasha. Shibechu ge'ulim l'shimcha al svat hayam yachad kulam hodu v'himlechu ve'ameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Sur Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, Ufdechinu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go'aleinu Adonai Tzivaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
Amen.
Can turn in your machzor to page 9 as we continue our prayers together. Please rise in body or in your hearts as you are able. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El
וכתבנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהים חיים וכתבנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהים חיים זוכרנו לחיים ולחפץ בחיים זוכרנו לחיים וכתבנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהים חיים זוכרנו לחיים מלך חפץ בחיים זוכרנו לחיים מלך חפץ בחיים וכתבנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהים חיים וכתבנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהים חיים זוכרנו לחיים מלך חפץ בחיים זוכרנו לחיים מלך חפץ בחיים מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטל מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומחיי אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה מי כמוך מי כמוך אב הרחמים זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים
We turn now to our Unatana Tokef prayer, which is a lengthy prayer. So you're invited to stay standing as you are able and have a seat at any time if you need to. And as we turn to this prayer, these words from poet David White. Vulnerability is not a weakness, a passing indisposition, or something we can arrange to do without. Vulnerability is not a choice. Vulnerability is the underlying, ever-present, and abiding undercurrent of our natural state. To run from vulnerability is to run from the essence of our nature. The attempt to be invulnerable is the vain attempt to become something we are not, and most especially to close off our understanding of the grief of others. More seriously, in refusing our vulnerability, we refuse the help needed at every turn of our existence and immobilize the essential tidal and conversational foundations of our identity. To have a temporary, isolated sense of power over all events and circumstances is a lovely, illusionary privilege, and perhaps the prime and most beautifully constructed conceit of being human, and especially of being youthfully human. But it is a privilege that must be surrendered with that same youth, with ill health, with accident, with the loss of loved ones who do not share our untouchable powers eventually and most emphatically given up as we approach our last breath. The only choice we have as we mature is how we inhabit our vulnerability, how we become larger and more courageous and more compassionate through our intimacy with disappearance. Our choice is to inhabit vulnerability as generous citizens of loss, robustly and fully, or conversely, as misers and complainers, reluctant and fearful, always at the gates of existence, but never bravely and completely attempting to enter, never wanting to risk ourselves, never walking fully through the door. Every year, and this is not David White's words, because I don't know if he knows about Unatana Tokef, but every year this Unatana Tokef prayer invites us to step through that door that he is talking about, to inhabit our vulnerability fully. We face these words, who shall live and who shall die, who by fire and who by water, who by earthquake and who by plague, and we come flush with our mortality and the impermanence of life. As we pray this year, may these ancient words unlock the courage and the compassion that will allow us to be present to life, to our beloveds, to our fellow citizens of this world, more fully in the year to come. Page 11 in your Machzor.
Unetane tokef kedushat hayom ki hu nora v'ayom Uvotinase malchutecha v'yikon bechesed kisecha v'teishev alav be'emet.
Let us declare the sacred power of this day, for it is awesome and dreadful. On this day, your rule is exalted, your throne is established with love, and you sit upon it in truth. In truth, you are judge and arbiter, counsel and witness. You write and seal, record and recount. You remember deeds long forgotten. You open the book of our days, and what is written there proclaims itself, for it bears the signature of every human being. The great shofar sounds, the still small voice is heard. Even the angels are seized by trembling and fear as they declare, "This is the day of judgment, when even the hosts of heaven are judged. Nothing can evade your eyes in judgment." All who live must pass before you like flocks before the shepherd. Just as a shepherd inspects the sheep and makes them pass under the staff, so do you account for the souls of all who live. You muster and number and consider every life and inscribe the verdict of their judgment.
Rosh Hashanah yikatevun, uvyom Tzom Kippur yechatemun. Rosh Hashanah yikatevun, uvyom Tzom Kippur yechatemun. Kama ya'avorun v'chama yibareun, mi yichye u'mi yamut, mi bekitzo u'mi lo bekitzo. Berosh Hashanah yikatevun, uvyom Tzom Kippur yechatemun. Berosh Hashanah yikatevun, uvyom Tzom Kippur yechatemun. Mi va'esh u'mi va'amayim, mi va'cherev u'mi va'chaya, mi va'ra'av u'mi va'tzama. Berosh Hashanah yikatevun, uvyom Tzom Kippur yechatemun. Berosh Hashanah yikatevun, uvyom Tzom Kippur yechatemun. Mi va'ra'ash u'mi va'magefa, mi b'chanika u'mi va'skila, mi yanuach u'mi yanua, mi yashkit u'mi torav, mi yishalev u'mi yityaser, mi ya'ani u'mi ya'ashir, mi yushbal u'mi yarum. Berosh Hashanah yikatevun, uvyom Tzom Kippur yechatemun. Berosh Hashanah yikatevun, uvyom Tzom Kippur yechatemun.
On Rosh Hashanah it is written, on Yom Kippur it is sealed. How many shall pass on? How many shall come to be? Who shall live and who shall die? Who shall see ripe age and who shall not? who shall perish by fire, and who by water, who by sword, and who by beast, who by hunger, and who by thirst, who by earthquake, and who by plague, who by strangling, and who by stoning. Who shall be secure, and who shall be driven? Who shall be tranquil, and who shall be troubled? Who shall be poor, and who shall be rich? And who shall be humbled, and who exalted?
Uteshuva, utefila, utsedaka, 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 uteshuva, utefila, utsedaka.
Ma'avirin et roa hagzeira.
But teshuvah, tefillah, and tzedakah temper the harshness of the decree. This is your glory. You were slow to anger, ready to forgive. It is not the death of sinners you seek, but that they should turn from their ways and live. Until the last day you wait for them, welcoming them as soon as they turn to you. You have created us, and know what we are. We are but flesh and blood. Our origin is dust, and dust is our end. Each of us is a shattered urn, grass that must wither, a flower that will fade, a shadow moving on, a cloud passing by, a particle of dust floating on the wind, a dream soon forgotten. But you are the sovereign, the everlasting God.
Mikadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Kishem shemakdishim oto bishmei marom, kakatuv al yad neviecha, v'kara ze el ze ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzebaot, Melech kol haaretz kivodo. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonai, Adonenu, Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Berachamav le'enei kol chai, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Eloi Yitzion, Ledor vador, Hallelujah.
L'dor vador nagid godlecha, u'lenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nakdish, v'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush, leolam va'ed. May each generation speak of your greatness to the next. For all eternity, may we sanctify your holiness. May your praise, our God, never depart from our lips. We continue praying on our own silently through page 18. You are holy, your name is holy, and there is no God besides you. As it is written, the eternal, the power of all creation is elevated through justice, God's holiness sanctified through acts of justice. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh.
Amen.
On page 19. You have delighted in us among all of the nations, loving us, desiring us, elevating us, and sanctifying us with mitzvot, drawing us near to serve you, that your great holy presence might be known to us. With love, we have been given this Shabbat and this day of remembering, a day of holy gathering, reminding us of our liberation from the straits of enslavement. On page 20. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, ya'aleh ve'yavo ve'yagia ve'yera'eh ve'yeratzeh ve'yishama ve'yipaked ve'yizacher zichronenu ufikdonenu ve'zichron avotenu ve'imotenu ve'zichron Mashiach ben David avdecha ve'zichron Yerushalayim ir kodshecha ve'zichron kol amcha beit Yisrael lefanecha Lifleta, Litova, Lachain, Ul Chesed, Ul Rachamim, L'chaim, Ul Shalom, B'yom Hazikaron Hazeh. Our God, God of our ancestors, allow memory to ascend, to come to reach us. May our memory and our ancestors' memory, and the memory of the dream of a messianic time, and the memory of the vision of Jerusalem as a city of peace, and the memories of all of your people, the house of Israel, be before you. On this day, may these memories, these dreams of redemption, inspire graciousness, loving kindness, and compassion in us for life and for peace on this Rosh Hashanah. Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo litova.
Amen.
Ufogdenu vo livracha.
Amen.
V'hoshienu vo l'chayim.
Amen.
ובדבר ישועה ורחמים חוס וחוננו, ורחם עלינו, והושיענו, כי אליך עינינו, כי אל מלך חנון ורחום אתה. Remember us, Yud-He-Vav-He, our God, for goodness. Count us in for blessing.
Amen.
Save us with life.
Amen.
Shower us with salvation and with compassion. Be merciful to us. Enfold us in the compassion we knew before we were born, for you are our merciful parent and sovereign. We continue praying silently now on our own through page 25, and you can be seated at any point or when you are finished with your prayers.
עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום.
we turn now to our service for the reading of Torah. So we're going to make a little stage transition here. In the meantime, please stand in body or in spirit as we move towards opening the ark. And Dan is already up here. Amazing. On page 26. Please feel free to join in the Hebrew or the English or both as we sink into the first Avinu Malkeinu of the season together, calling on our divine parent for mercy and compassion. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lifanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu, Va'al Olaleinu Vitapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have mercy on us and on our children.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Dever V'cherev V'ra'av Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, rid us of sickness, sword, hunger, destruction.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Kol Tsar Umastin Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, rid us of persecution.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kodvenu B'Sefer Chayim Tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us for blessing in the book of life.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew us for a good year.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Va'anenu, Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim, Aseh Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed V'Hoshienu, Imenu Malkatenu, Chaninu Va'aninu, Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim, Asi Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed V'Hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Imenu Malkatenu,
be gracious, answer us, for we have no deeds within us. Treat us generously and with kindness, and be our help.
Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu, Yein Banu Masim. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed La'alavim, no se avon v'afesha v'chata v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Chaim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed La'alavim, no se avon v'afesha v'chata v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed La'alavim, no se avon v'afesha v'chata v'nakeh, no se avon v'afesha v'chata v'nakeh. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad
בשמיים ובארץ, פה בשמיים ובארץ. אדוני המלכה, אלוהינו זה לכל ראש. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. יא לה 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 לה
You can be seated. Untwirl it. Every year we're set up differently. You notice? And every year I have to figure out where things go. Okay. So, we are you're here on Rosh Hashanah. And you'll find the Torah reading from Genesis in your Machzor on page 31. Parashat Vayera. We'll read from the first part of this parasha for the first day of Rosh Hashanah. And you'll also find the blessings in there, but if you're coming up for an Aliyah this year, we finally have blessings for everybody. So exciting. Thank you to Alexa. So the way our Aliyot work, if you haven't experienced them yet, we call groups up to the Torah that are connected to some kind of invitation that I will make along the theme of the Torah portion or the theme of our high holidays. So anyone who feels called by that invitation is welcome to join in the group Aliyot, whether you know the blessings or not, whether or not you are Jewish. You may come up here to the Torah for that. So we're going to begin with our first Aliyah and invite up our reader, Sophie Bushwick. And so our Aliyot this year are built around our theme of enough, and the way that theme intersects with the Torah portion. In these verses that Sophie will be chanting for us, our matriarch Sarah, at age 100, finally gives birth to a son after experiencing barrenness for many, many years. She names him Isaac, which means Yitzchak, which means he will laugh. In an otherwise challenging story with a lot of conflict, we actually have a really lovely moment here where she laughs, right? It's lightness and gratitude for this unexpected blessing and gift in her life that she never expected to have. So this Aliyah is for you if, as you look back at this past year, there is something that you received or something that happened that made you say, Dayenu, like in a positive way. Like my life would have been good enough, but then this happened, right? Things are fine, things are good, but then this unexpected thing happened, or this beautiful thing happened, large or small. Or if amidst the challenges and the conflicts of your life, right, you want to set a kavanah, set an intention to notice the everyday small gifts. Or to laugh at the moments of lightness and to say Dayenu, this too is enough. So whether something happened to you this year where you're already saying, wow, Dayenu, that was amazing, that was more than enough, or you want to set an intention to notice those things in the coming year, or both, please come on up, and please don't be shy. And Emily will direct you. Please come close to Torah, all right? And would anyone like to touch with their tzitzit? Go ahead, Perry. Perry.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'Adonai pakad et Sarah kasher amar, vayas Adonai l'Sarah kasher diber. Vatahar, vateled Sarah leAvraham, ben liskunav, lamoed asher diber oto Elohim. Vayikra Avraham et shem beno hanolad lo, asher yalda lo Sarah Yitzchak. Vayamol Avraham et Yitzchak beno ben shmonat yamim kasher tziva oto Elohim. V'Avraham ben ma'at shana v'hivaled lo et Yitzchak beno. Vatomer Sarah tzchok asali Elohim kol hashomea Yitzchak li. Vatomer mi milel Avraham heinika banim Sarah ki yaladiti ben
Liskunav. Blessing after, yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Don't go down yet, because I'm going to give you a blessing. A quick one, because it's so simple and easy, right? Like, may you be blessed with many opportunities to be surprised at how good it can be. Or maybe not to be so surprised, but to take in, right, how good it can be. But I hope that you will laugh, however you laugh, whether it's out loud or inside, right? And say Dayenu. It would have been enough, and now this. So may it be a sweet year full of those moments.
Amen.
Amen. Let us all say Amen.
Amen.
Yasher koach. Now you can sit down. All right. Our second aliyah, for our second aliyah, our reader is Chelsea. Chelsea. In this section that Chelsea will be chanting for us, Sarah is not laughing anymore. It's a moment and then it's over. She sees her son Isaac playing with Ishmael, right? The son that her Egyptian handmaiden Hagar had with her husband Abraham. And Sarah sees these two boys playing and demands that Abraham cast out Hagar and Ishmael from their camp because she is concerned that Ishmael threatens her own son's inheritance and connection to the special covenant between God and the to-be Jewish people, and all the blessings that will flow from that. She has a mentality here of scarcity. Sarah doesn't really perceive that there might be enough to go around, and therefore she's worried, right? Some will have and others won't, and so if I have the choice in the matter, I'm going to be the one who has, right? If it's going to be my kid who ends up with what he needs, then that's the way it should be. It's like this zero-sum calculation, right, that she's making. I don't know what it makes you think of. I know what you're thinking. It's what I'm thinking, right? The austerity budget and the general austerity measures that our New York City Mayor Adams has been pushing it definitely makes me think of that. There's so much abundance here in this city. There's so much wealth, right? It's just a question of what you're willing to do to distribute it equally or more equitably. So this aliyah is for you. If you notice that austerity in yourself, It is a natural human response, right? That anxiety that there won't be enough, whatever it is, whether it's resources or time or energy or love, right? Anything that you feel is scarce. If you feel that anxiety and you want to cultivate more of an abundance mentality, that there is enough. We also, as part of this abundance Aliyah, want to honor the organizations that have collaborated with us this year in bringing these high holidays about. So if you are here through a connection to the Wandering Jews of Astoria or the Queens Jewish Project, we hope that you'll join us up here also for this Aliyah. We're so grateful for the ways that you bring abundance to our Western Queens Jewish community. So come on up if you want some abundance thinking this year. And you can come up more than once, so don't be shy. Come on up. Come up. He's allowed. Oh, honey.
Worried about not having enough.
He can come up here. It's okay. Okay, you can say the blessing from there. Whatever you want. Yeah, come up. Come on up. We want you up here. Yes.
Sorry.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
Vayigdal hayalid, vayigamal, vayas Avraham, mishteh gadol, vayom hagamel et Yitzchak. Vaytera Sarah et ben Hagar, hamitzrit asher yada leAvraham mitzachech. V'tomer, oh yeah, v'tomer leAvraham garesh hama hazot ve'ata bina ki lo yiresh bin ha'ama hazot im bini im Yitzchak.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah tamet, v'chayei olam natan b'skeinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yeah. So for all of you who came up, may you be blessed to look at your life, at the world, at your world, and see how much you have, how much there is. When tightness or anxiety arise around not having enough or not being enough, may you remember to breathe, to slow down, to bring yourself compassion, so that you might see clearly the abundance that is here, always. And let us all say,
Amen.
Amen. Our reader for our final Aliyah is Logan Bayroff. And For our third aliyah, in these verses that Logan will be reading, Abraham follows through and does what Sarah asked of him. He banishes Ishmael and Hagar into the wilderness, and they're wandering into the desert. And when they run out of water, Hagar places her son under a bush because she can't bear to see him die of thirst. And she's really not able to see a way forward. She sort of throws herself into the dust. Don't worry, there's a happy ending, but we won't get it until the very end. So I'm going to leave you hanging. So don't worry, if you're coming up and it feels dark, it won't stay there, okay? But this aliyah is for you if you are feeling like you've arrived at this new year, having drained the last drop of water in the desert, in whatever way that speaks to you. You might be searching for a way forward. You might be searching for purpose or for the fuel to keep going. If any of that speaks to you, yeah, don't be shy. Come on up. You're not alone. And if you want to touch with your talus, let's see, it's right there. Go ahead, Meredith, please. Come.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayira hadavar meod b'nei Abraham alodot bno. Vayomer Elohim el Abraham al yera b'necha al hanar v'alamatecha kol asher tomar lecha Sarah shama b'kola ki b'yitzchak yikare lecha Zara v'gam et ben Ama legoy ashimenu ki zarecha hu vayishkem Avraham baboker vayikach lechem vechem ad mayim vayiten al Hagar sham al shikma v'rayeled v'ishlacheha v'telech v'techa b'midbar Beersheva ויאכלו המים מן החמד, ותשלח את הילד תחת אחד השיחים, ותלך ותשב לה מנגד הרחק, כי מתחווה קשת, כי אמרה לרב במות הילד, ותשב מנגד, ותישא קולה והטבח, וישמע אלוהים את כל הנהר, ויקרא מלאך אלוהים אל הגר מן השמיים, ויאמר לה מלאך הגר אל תיראי, כי שמע אלוהים את כל הנהר באשר הוא שם. קומי שעיר הנהר וחזיקי את ידך בו, כי לגוי גדול אשימנו. ויפקח אלוהים את עיניה, ותרא באר מים, ותלך ותמלא רחמת מים, ותסק את הנהר. ויהי אלוהים את הנהר, ויגדל, וישב במדבר, ויהי רובה כשד, וישב במדבר פרן, ותיקח לו אמו, אישה מארץ מצרים.
Asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam natan b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So in the end, Hagar does not let herself fall into despair. She cries out, her child cries first, and then she cries, or she cries, and then God hears her child's cry. It's very confusing, really, who's crying, right? But I think that's interesting, and what she ends up hearing is God's response, telling her to get up. So there's someone noticing someone's cry here, and God tells her to get up and to take her child's hand and to keep going, because there is a beautiful, abundant destiny awaiting them, and awaiting her son. And so once she cries out, maybe she hears her baby crying, and then she hears God's voice. All of that combines to help her sort of gather herself together, lift herself up out of the dust. And once she does this, she sees a well of water. And she drinks, and she gives her son some water, and the story continues. And it's a very patriarchal text, so of course the happy ending is like, her son gets married, right? But okay. But the story continues in a blessed way. So my blessing for you is that you should also be blessed to hear that cry, whether it's coming from others in your life, whether it's coming from your own heart, that's calling you to act, to respond, to get up. And maybe you don't know why you should respond to it in the moment. Maybe you don't know how this is all going to work, right? But may the act of just getting up and moving help reconnect you to a sense of purpose, to a sense that your journey is connected to something beyond yourself, that there's a reason, there's a purpose for your being, there's a purpose for your journey. And may that action also bring you nourishment, and open your eyes to the sources of nourishment that are there for you so that you can keep moving forward towards blessing. And let us all say,
Amen.
Amen. Thank you all for coming up. And Yashar Koach, Logan, can I announce about your baby? I just want to say that Logan is here like how many weeks after having a baby? Like not many weeks, 5 weeks after Arthur was born. So mazel tov to you. We offer some blessings now with the Torah before us. First, a blessing, a prayer for healing of body, mind, or spirit. It could be for yourself. It could be for anyone that you're thinking of. So I invite you to say names of folks you're thinking of for healing out loud into the space as my eyes scan the room. Tova, close. Mi sheberach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel, hu yivarech et kol hacholim ha'eleh. May the one who blessed all of our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless all of these whom we've named and others whose names we hold in our hearts, and the names of folks that might be thinking about on the live stream. May the source of healing send extra measures of wisdom and skill to all of their doctors and nurses and other caregivers, and send extra measures of hope and strength to all who love them and care for them from nearby or from far away. And send to them all a refuah shlema, whether we consider that to be a complete healing or a cessation of pain, or whatever they need to manage an ongoing chronic condition. And let us all say, Amen. We also offer a blessing if there's anyone here who has come through a dangerous, risky experience in the past year, It can be childbirth. It can be coming, I mean, this is traditionally, it's also for those who come home from being incarcerated, for recovery from an illness, or a surgery or injury, or for having escaped danger in any way. So if that calls to you, you're invited to come up to the Torah at this time, or if you prefer to stand at your seat, you can do that as well. It's a call and response blessing. So also if you're feeling like a little bit vulnerable and don't need everyone to see you come up here, you're welcome to even just read the blessing on the screen, and we will respond. And actually, it's going to be, oh, do I have it here? I do have it here. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to read Baruch or Baruch here. Okay? Go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shegamlan nikol tov.
Okay, and then the English.
Holy One of blessing, your presence fills creation. You have spared me from danger for all that is good.
And we respond, Amen. Mi shegmalchem kol tov, hu yigmalchem kol tov salah. May the
one who spared you continue to grant you all that is good.
Hugs. Hugs are here. Hugs are here. Group hug. Good. Beautiful. Okay. Can you see that? So we are going to lift and dress the Torah now. Please rise if you are able. And we're inviting up Mirabel and Marnie. Ta'amudna hamagbiha v'hagolelet. Have you ever done this? All right. Okay, so what's going to happen? We've got some first-timers here, so you're going to watch a little workshop happen, a little Hagba workshop. You can all learn from this. Okay. So, come here. You know what? Do you know the basic idea of what's going to happen? Yeah. Okay. So, take the scroll like this, and pull it towards you. Pull it up over your head. Get on something and turn around and show. It's very light. I know you can do it. And you get down. Switch with you. Got it.
Zot Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai biyad Moshe.
Yalla, yalla, la, la,
a big yasher kochech to Mirabelle for her first time doing Hagbah since becoming a bat mitzvah. That was amazing. Yasher koach. So we're going to take a moment now to hear from Andrew Lang Abramowitz or Lindsay Lang Abramowitz about how you can support Malkhut.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
All right. So when Andrew and I moved to Western Queens about 10 years ago, we loved everything about our new home. We loved the neighborhoodliness of it. We loved all the languages we heard on the street. And we loved the momos at Fayul, which are the best, and if you disagree, you're wrong.
Right? Yeah.
The one thing that we felt was missing when we first moved here 10 years ago was a Jewish community where we felt we fit in. And then, I think it was six or so years ago, we got an email about high holiday services in a church in Queens in our neighborhood. And having nothing better to do, we went. And we really liked it. And so we kept going back. And we had a couple of kids, and we kept going back, and we slowly realized that we found a community that was warm and progressive, shared our values, had a commitment to social justice, where we could bring our children and feel like they were having the kind of Jewish education we wanted them to have. So we kept going back. And we realized eventually that if we wanted to be part of this community, if we wanted there to be a community, we had to show up, because there are big, shiny congregations where you can come and go as you please. But part of what we loved about Malkhut was its scrappiness, its sort of startup quality of everyone needs to be there for it to work. So you guys all did your part, right? You showed up. You're filling the seats. You brought your bodies. You brought your voices. You sang the prayers. But there's another part of it. That's all really important. All right, good job. There's another part of it, too, that we also need to make it work. And that is renting the chairs and paying for the space and the prayer books and all these things that make this beautiful service happen. So many of you have also showed up that way. And so thank you, because that's really important also. So someone sent me some statistics, which are on my phone. So hold on one second. Okay. So Malkhut has committed to making sure that these services are open to everybody, right? And that means a lot, that anyone can come here no matter their financial means. But that also means that all of us have to give in a way that means we are showing up. So the goal for this year was to raise $30,000, which covers 60% of the costs of the lights and the music and the microphones. and
the leadership.
And and all of the things that, all the people and the time and the everything that takes for this to happen. So when I looked last night, I think we were just over half of the way there. So if you already gave, thank you, all right? If you haven't given yet, right, please make sure that you're showing up the way you showed up with your body and your voices and your spirit, so that Malkhut can continue to grow. Oh, yeah, okay. We're almost done. All right, so, and if you have given already, this is the other thing, there are suggested donations amounts, right? If you have given maybe less, and you're able to give more, please go back and check it out, see what the numbers are for this year, so that you can make sure that this continues to happen. And it's really easy to donate. You can, for $150 if you're a partner, $225 if you're not yet a partner. You can make a donation by scanning the donation card that I think is in your prayer book. You can go to the Malkhut website and click on the button there. And you can also, I don't know, there's maybe something else.
I think those are the two.
Those are the two things.
Mail a check, but that's-
And you can mail a check if you're old-fashioned like that and like to mail checks like my parents. This is also a really great time to become a partner. If you're not a partner yet, there are reduced amounts for the high holiday services, and there's a special event for Sukkot that's members only. So thank you so much for those who've donated. Thank you to everyone for showing up with your bodies and your spirits and your voices. We're so grateful that this community exists, and we want to keep continuing to show up to see where it goes next. So thank you so much, Shana Tova.
Tova. Thank you, Lindsay. Just want to make sure you all see all these names. Okay. Thank you, Lindsay and Arthur. So I'm going to give my sermon. You're very welcome to stand up here. Take a seat and see me straight on. You can do that too. Okay. Sure. I'm letting the folks up here go sit in the congregation while I speak. That's what's going on. Okay. Can we get a little more on here? Okay, great. Thank you. I don't know where to begin with you, Israel. It's so funny, that was not expected to be a laugh line. I fell in love with you when I was 6 years old, with the piney air of Beit HaKerem, the Jerusalem neighborhood we lived in that summer. I fell in love with the Hebrew language that became my own, living on a kibbutz in the 11th grade, with the way you dance to Jewish time and how you've sheltered Jewish refugees, including many of my own relatives. I fell in love with your land that I hiked from the Golan to the Arava and from the Mediterranean to the Judean desert. I fell in love with the dream of peace during that tiny window of hope in the early 1990s. I studied Arabic in college with such optimism. Even after Rabin was assassinated and after living in Jerusalem as its buses and cafes were bombed, even after the Zionist myths of my childhood were shattered, and I learned firsthand about the occupation, living with Palestinians in the West Bank, witnessing firsthand Israel's dehumanization of my Palestinian friends and neighbors, witnessing settler harassment and violence. Even after my cousin Dror, commander of the IDF in Hebron during the Second Intifada, was killed in an ambush. Even after my Palestinian host mother in college, Amal, was shot by 2 different stray bullets during that same intifada, left to a life of chronic pain. She just died this year. Even then, I didn't fall into despair. Joining myself to the work of courageous organizations like Rabbis for Human Rights and True Ah and J Street, that saved my relationship with you. It gave me a way to fight for your soul in solidarity with left-wing Israeli activists and with Palestinians. I learned how to criticize you from a place of love and how to defend myself against accusations of being an anti-Semitic, Israel-hating rabbi. But over the years, I've grown more and more alienated from you. How am I to keep going on with you, Israel, when you barely give me any love in return? When you keep electing Bibi over and over again? When the liberals in Tel Aviv sleep on the other side of the wall from the West Bank, enjoying their lattes and their high tech while the settlements expand and the human rights abuses deepen? I didn't visit you for 8 years, the longest I've ever gone. I've barely written a sermon about you either. I supported the work of those wonderful human rights organizations, but my heart truly wasn't in it. It was too painful. And now, this government of yours, of extremist Jewish supremacist Kahanists who want you to become some horrible hybrid of authoritarian Hungary and theocratic Iran, enough! Dai kvar! Chalas! I've had enough of you already! I imagine I'm not alone in this experience, although each of our experiences and each of our connections or non-connections have their own stories. And I'm not just talking about the experience of my struggle with Israel, right? But this experience of enough already with you, right? Whether it's a personal struggle or a collective one, when we care deeply, when we've given so much and our actions don't seem to lead to real change, I imagine many of us at some point have found ourselves in a place where all we want to do is throw up our hands and turn our backs. Or maybe your go-to giving up posture is to curl up in a ball and just wish it would all go away and just stop being so hard. That's mine. It is really hard right now. It's really hard to believe that anything we do will change things. This past year has frustrated so many of us who want to uproot unjust systems and to bring more compassion into this world. Many of us hoped we would emerge from the pandemic with greater investments in care, whether for poor folks or for people carrying unwanted pregnancies, for trans youth, or for homeless folks and asylum seekers. They really wanted to hear the sermon. I'm sorry. No, I believe that we would have found at least a little more consensus in this country about what happened on January 6th and about the critical need to shore up our democracy. As we watch life on our earth burn and drown, I believe we would have been bringing all of the world's resources and political will to bear on addressing the global climate crisis. Instead, what we see is more people sleeping in our streets, LGBTQ folks and women being denied care. We see right-wing think tanks prepping candidates with policy proposals to roll back any progress we've made on climate change. And we see the Israeli government dismantling their system of checks and balances, and the list goes on. On the threshold of this new year, here I am, curled up on the floor in the fetal position. I've had it. Nothing I can do is going to be enough. Here we are, like Hagar from this morning's Torah portion, banished, lost in the wilderness. There isn't enough water. We can't bear to watch our child die from thirst, so we leave him under a bush and throw ourselves on the ground, our face in the dust. Like Hannah in the Haftarah assigned to this morning, all that we've hoped to birth still hasn't come to fruition. We are barren, distraught, bitter, standing at the temple with our annual sacrifice to pray for a child yet again. But what for? We will only be disappointed. But then the child starts to cry. And God calls to Hagar. And she can't resist. She has to answer the call. She surrenders. This is not only about her. There are larger forces at play that she doesn't completely understand. Her child needs her. And then Hannah's prayer rises up, and she can't stop the words from gushing out. She surrenders. She can't resist. Something larger than herself is operating here. Her own heart needs this prayer. And then I hear about the demonstrations. Hundreds of thousands of Israelis pouring into the streets, demanding a stop to the extremist government's judicial coup, calling for demokratia. I see the photos of Kaplan and Ayalon, masses of people. I head to a demonstration across from the Israeli embassy here in New York, and I hear the cry, "Oh, oh, im lo yeh shivyon, nachsom et Ayalon, nafaltem al hador halo nachon." If there will be no democracy or equality, we will block the Ayalon highway, or in another version, we'll topple the government. You've chosen the wrong generation to mess with. Among the protesters, I see the No Democracy with Occupation t-shirts of the anti-occupation bloc. I surrender. I can't resist. It's time to step back into this struggle. There are larger forces at play here. This is not just about me. I buy myself a plane ticket and I head back to Israel for the first time in 8 years. I sit down to write an Israel sermon for the high holidays for the first time in 8 years. Why do we do this? Why do we do this, turning our backs and then turning back around again? This curling up and unfurling again. When it is so hard, when our hearts are so broken, when we're so frickin' done, right? Why? Why do we do this teshuvah, this Rosh Hashanah returning to the struggle, to the work, to our dreams for how we and the world could be? Not surprisingly, the Jewish tradition has a lot of answers to these questions because our people have been here in the dust face down many times before, and our ancestors have built up a lot of wisdom around why and how you get up and keep moving. The teachings that really spoke to me this year come from contemporary feminist thinkers who use the metaphor of parenting. And before I share them, I want to make it clear that parenting and motherhood are metaphors. They are not only meant for parents, they are not only meant for female-identified folks to make meaning out of. And I want to also name that these stories of mothers, whether in ancient or modern texts, can be difficult, especially for people who have struggled with fertility, or who don't want children, or who are unable to have children. I share these texts because I think they speak powerfully to our shared human existential challenges, and I hope that the universal messages will come through, no matter who you are or what your family looks like. So first, my colleague Mara Benjamin, she writes, in the early days and months of first having a baby, the raw, immediate assault on my freedom, a freedom I had not even known I had previously enjoyed, struck me with overwhelming force. No sooner had this baby, this stranger, appeared than she held a claim on me. I was now responsible for addressing her needs and wishes. The obligation was so powerful in those early days that it, more than delight, often took center stage in my psyche. At times, wonder and gratitude did temper the overwhelming sense of burden, but more often the obligation to take care of the young creature preoccupied me to the exclusion of other emotions. I felt the terror of my power, of my vast and direct responsibility for this baby's well-being. I was weighted down by the sheer inescapability of her. My obligation was, on the most literal level, to locate myself in proximity to her and to do things for her day and night. No longer was the usual calendar of day and night useful. A physically depleting cycle of half wakefulness and short, interrupted portions of sleep became routine. Even when I was by myself, I could no longer feel truly solitary. These shifts in my relationship to time, the material world, and my own autonomy comprised the becoming of an obligated self, a self radically bound up with someone else. To be an obligated self was to be subject to the law of another, the, in capital letters, law of the baby. The law could not be fulfilled in abstract, but only in active, embodied, material actions, soothing, feeding, cleaning, comforting, distracting, smiling, and wiping. In my child, I recognized the one person from whom I felt I could not walk away. Hagar can't walk away from her literal baby. Hannah can't walk away from her own heart's yearning for one. I can't walk away from this Israel-Palestine mess. We can't walk away from our home, this earth. This call to wake up, turn back. It's like gravity. We don't assent to be held to the earth by it, yet we are bound to live our lives within its constraints. The divine gravitational pull inevitably gets us up out of the dust to answer its cry, to live in proximity and to respond to the beloveds in our lives. Whether those beloveds are other people, our own hearts, or our own dreams for how this world could or should be. This pull doesn't always feel good. Standing for hours at a protest isn't great for my feet or my back. For real. Zoom organizing meetings can be very time-consuming and boring and disorganized and frustrating. But Jewish tradition teaches that the action, the mitzvah itself, that is what matters. In fact, it is the action itself that opens up the possibility that once we do get up and feed and diaper whatever baby it is we're responding to, our hearts might open and we might begin to feel a sense of purpose, that what I'm doing does matter in its own small, humble way. Another contemporary thinker, Rabbanit Rivka Lubitch, adds her layer to this idea of the divine as a baby who needs us. She plays on the Hebrew word emunah, which can be translated as both faith and trust. This current generation, she says, questions everything and does not place trust in anything. But she teaches we still have faith. You just have to read this word emunah in a different way, in the sense of an omen or omnut. An omen is a person who nurses a baby. Omnut is to care for. You hear the resonance with the word emunah, omnut, omen, right? So she's making this connection between nursing and faith. We in this generation are those who omnim et Elohim. We nurse, we take care of God. I'll say that again. We nurse and take care of God and God's Torah and raise and rear them up until God becomes God and God's Torah becomes Torah. For the nursing baby places trust, imun, in the nurse, the omen or omenet. And the nurse takes care, omen, of the nursing baby, nurtures them, raises them, and loves them. We take care of God. We take care of Torah. We fulfill our obligation to heal this world in the way that a nursing parent feeds, cares for, raises, and loves a child. And in that way, God becomes God and Torah becomes Torah. Not only that, but through our proximity, through our engagement, through our action, we actually contribute to the birth, growth, and evolution of what God and Torah can mean. Through our struggles, through our teshuvah, through our work, we create purpose and meaning. We contribute to the energy and the motivation of ourselves and others throughout time and space to keep on going. Like a helpless crying baby, the divine, this force that we may think of as beyond us or within the world, it needs us in all of our imperfection to not walk away. God needs us and trusts that we do have enough to give. This is the teshuvah that I need this Rosh Hashanah. As I lay here curled up on the floor, wishing I didn't have to face all the ways we seem to have moved backwards this year, I pray that I might hear the cry of that baby and gather the strength to get back up. Because the thing is, when Hagar gets up and opens her eyes, there is a well of water waiting there. And many months after Hannah allows the bitter prayer to spill from her lips, she conceives her long-awaited child. When we patiently tend to each other, to our own hearts, to this earth, we open ourselves to receive the gifts of beauty, nourishment, love, joy, sweetness, purpose, wakefulness in our lifetimes. We won't get to see all of our dreams and visions realized. That doesn't happen with babies. It doesn't happen with struggles. But we see that we have something to provide that the world needs. We see that the baby has enough trust in our ability to respond, that the baby even cries in the first place. We get to feel the aliveness and the love of our connection to the baby, to the divine, to the world, even if that connection feels tenuous and fleeting. So back to you, Israel, my dear. People ask me what it was like to visit you this summer, and I say, it was awful. There was so much violence wrought by both Palestinians and Jews. And with the government quickly implementing its agenda of annexing Area C in the West Bank and stripping away human rights of women and Palestinians and LGBTQ folks. Ugh. But It was also more wonderful than I could have ever imagined. As I stood in the midst of the pro-democracy demonstrations, the drums, the vuvuzelas, and the chanting moved me to tears. They are no longer asleep in Tel Aviv with their lattes and their high tech. The mainstream of the country has finally woken up. They are responding to your cry and realize they are the ones who need to nurse and care for you and your fragile democracy. For sure, not everyone is making the connection between the fight against the occupation and the fight for your democracy, but more people are being exposed to this idea. As for me and you, Israel, I doubt I'll live to see all my dreams for you realized. That would be naive. I probably will find myself in the fetal position again. But as long as you cry out, I will keep getting back up to tend to you. Because it's not about me. And I'm not going to give up.
Nivra
Alexa's smiling wide because it's time for the shofar. Young people, come in and find your grown-ups. Longer than we expected, but we're gonna stay here to hear this shofar, right? If you can, and if you can't, and you need to go get something to eat, that's totally fine. Please do that if that's what you need. Okay. So there are 3 sections to this ritual, each with an intention or a kavanah to bring to the mitzvah of hearing the shofar. And you're invited to experience these kavanot as moments of turning inward in meditation if you would like. If you're able, if you're not juggling children, so that you can be still and quiet and ready to hear the voice of the shofar. So we begin with Malchuyot, or sovereignty, and we begin with my Rabbi Mary Oliver. The summer day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention. How to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? On this day of the world's birth, we prostrate ourselves, an act of humility. We are all grasshoppers before the divine creator. A prayer of gratitude, we kneel in the grass or on the carpet, acknowledging the blessing of having been born into this world. As we prepare to hear the shofar, we ask ourselves, what is it we intend to do with our one wild and precious life?
Hayom harat olam, Hayom yamid b'mishpat, Kol yetzurei olamim, Im kevanim, im ka'avadim, im kevanim rachamenu, kerachem avar banim.
Call up our Ba'alat Tikiyah shofar blower, Chelsea Simon. Please rise in body or in spirit as we prepare for the Grand Aleinu. You'll find the words to the Grand Aleinu on page 35 in your booklet. It is traditional to do a full prostration for this prayer. You're invited to use the aisles or the back or the front of the room for that. And if you are not able or not comfortable doing a full prostration, it is not expected of you. You can simply bow deeply if you would like, or bow in your heart. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol lateit gedula liotzer bereshit Shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, Shelo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, Shelo sam chelkenu kahem, Vigoraleinu kechol hamonam. Va'anachnu korein u'mishtachavim u'modim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We join in the blessings for hearing the shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Tekiah Shivarim teruah Tekiah, Tekiah, Shivarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah. You can be seated. The kids can stay up here if they want. It's okay. If the kids want to stay up here, there's going to be more. There's more shofar coming. We continue now with the zichronot, or rememberings. The traditional liturgy of zichronot says that there is no forgetfulness before the throne of glory. So with this sounding of the shofar, we open to divine love that does not forget or exclude anyone. Though we are but dust and ashes, we are remembered, as are all beings. Our neighbors, those seeking housing in our city, those in prisons and detention centers and war zones, women with unwanted or dangerous pregnancies who can't access abortion care, trans youth who are denied gender-affirming care, people living with addictions of all kinds, all living beings who are sick, who are anxious or lonely, who are struggling to survive. Through us and our remembering, divine love is extended to all beings. So we will sing this beautiful chant from Kohenet Shoshana Jedwab, except it's not that one. That's that one. It's called I Remember, and the I in the I Remember is God. The you is you and me. God remembers us the way a parent remembers their child when they were young, or how a lover remembers a beloved when they first met.
I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember you. I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember, I remember you. Letech I remember you.
Please rise. Tekiah. Shivarim Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah.
Areshet Sifateinu Yerabetpanecha Elam Benisa Areshet Sifateinu Yerabetpanecha Elam Benisa Yehi Kumazin Laviv Kumachim Levot Tekiyateinu Utikabel Berachamim Berachamim
So we've arrived at our final part of the shofar service called shofarot. And this is the moment where we imagine that the shofar that we are hearing right now is the same shofar that we all heard at Mount Sinai when our people first entered into the covenant with the divine. And it's the same shofar that will one day herald the Messianic age. Here we imagine what would happen if we no longer underestimated our power in partnership with the divine to bring that day just a bit closer.
We will not underestimate our power any longer. We know that together we are strong. We will not underestimate our power any longer. We know that together we are strong.
We are strong.
Tekiah. Shivarim Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah Gedolah. As we move to the conclusion of our service, it's so fun to invite up the Heller Alcons to cover the Torah. Yeah, come on up. It's Chaim Hi, Malkhut Zikimah, We continue now with our Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page 45 in the booklets. And I invite you to say out loud or inwardly any names of people you're remembering, whether it's a yard site or a recent loss or someone that you're particularly remembering at the beginning of the year. So please say those names as my eyes scan the room. Any names for Kaddish?
Janet Townsend.
Zichronam livracha, may their memories all be a blessing to you. And if you're mourning or if you'd like to join us in standing, you're invited to for Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, Amen. Be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam l'mei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela u'le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'miran ba'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba amin shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, Amen. We do have announcements, so please be patient because it's important for us to thank everybody. Again, want to acknowledge our collaborators from Queens Jewish Project and Wandering Jews of Astoria. We want to thank UJ Federation of New York for funding these gatherings. I want to thank everybody up here and who's been up here today, especially Chris and Emily and all of our singers and musicians. Amazing. And our shofar blower, wherever she went. She's like all over the place. Okay. There she is. I want to thank Alexa Weitzman, Director of Engagement, and Diana Charlop, our Operations Associate, who's not here today but has been working behind the scenes leading up to today. Carl Hansen, our shamus, Marina Nebro, Amina and Ziv, and all of our volunteers, I think Raya and Dahlia, maybe others who are helping out with the children's programming. So thank you all. Again, so much thanks for this gorgeous, gorgeous image that Jess Levy created for our theme. Thank you to all our volunteers who helped set up and check people in, and ushers and teen helpers. There's so many. I'm sure I missed a category. We want to thank CUNY School of Law for hosting us so generously here. We love CUNY. Malkhut loves CUNY. And so much gratitude to Collegium Sound for this whole container. It's incredible. We can always still use volunteers. If you're able to stay after the service to help clean up, we'd love that. If you can help out on Yom Kippur, you can let Alexa know in the back. The schedule for the rest of the week and for Yom Kippur is all on the website. I'm not going to go through all of it, just to say that tomorrow we will be at Gantry State Park on the waterfront in Long Island City for Malkhut and me at 2:45. That's for little ones and their parents. A picnic at 3:30, bring your own, and 4 o'clock tashlich with Emily, as we'll set new intentions for the year and discard what no longer serves us. There's an art event on Tuesday through Wandering Jews. Look on the website for that. And we'll be back here and on live stream for Yom Kippur. You can see all those dates and times again on the website. We are going to have 2 sukkahs this year at Malkhut, one in Long Island City at the Connected Chef lot and one in Jackson Heights at St. Mark's Garden. So stay posted for Sukkot details. It's going to be amazing. There's a wonderful introduction to Judaism class that's starting in November. There's information in the back about that if you're interested. And Resetting the Table, a program that explores the birth of both Jewish and Palestinian national aspirations and their divergent experiences of Israel's founding, is a program that we are bringing via UJA to LIC in October. This is for participants who are in their 20s and 30s to explore the dual narratives and your kind of relationship to Israel, Palestine, and that whole mess that I talked about. In a non-judgmental space where all
opinions and all questions and doubts are welcome. So look out for that information later in the fall. If you want to protest Bibi Netanyahu while he is here in New York City, up to you. I'm just giving you the information. There are going to be some huge protests outside his hotel and at the UN during the week. There's printouts of the calendar of the protests in the back. Join me. I will be there for some of them. And don't forget to make your donations and bring those cards home with you. So apologies for going later than we have in the past. I think we're getting back to our pre-pandemic spaciousness, which I kind of like, honestly. But we're just going to sing ourselves out. So I'm not going to do my closing poem. Yeah. And I don't know where my clicker is anymore. It's somewhere. Oh, there it is. Shana Tova.